We are amazingly grateful to Professor Helen Lockhead for agreeing to deliver this lecture. Professor Lockhead is the Dean of the School of Built Environment at the University of New South Wales. And as we speak, the University of New South Wales and TERI, along with other partners, is hosting the 10th GRIHAS Summit, which is about to get over, and I'm hoping that we will see inflow of people as that gets over.
I'm actually using Sydney as a case study rather than all cities everywhere, because I think it's always good to talk to your area of expertise, and Sydney is my laboratory. I've worked there for most of my professional life in private practice, for government, and now as an academic. And so I feel like I span the inside and the outside, the private sector and the public sector, and as well as a citizen, and understand the city intimately. I'd like to say that the best kind of policy is informed by robust evidence-based research, and that is really what underpins the metropolitan strategy for the city of Sydney, and also at a more fine-grained scale, the implementation of projects which are greener and more sustainable at a precinct level and in the places within them. So let's just talk about that one by one. Research in our faculty is very much focused on shaping future cities. Cities that are resilient, informed, healthy, smart, connected, green, livable, and inclusive. To do this, we actually focused on some thematic research areas. One, the environment. How do we improve and make a more sustainable built environment? And secondly, how do we design for humans foremost in mind, so that the benefits of human-centric design and designing for sustainability are integrated and more than the sum of the parts. We also are very much aware of the importance of new and emerging technologies, big data, to inform our decision making, but also in unpacking the analytics. So this is a kind of a diagram of our research agenda, and let me just tell you about some of the work that we're doing. The CRC, or the Cooperative Research Centre for Low Carbon Living, is very much focused on reducing carbon emissions in the built environment, with a raft of initiatives and multi-sector partnerships across government, public-private partnerships, and multiple universities at a national level. There have been hundreds of research projects that have been delivered in conjunction with industry to have real-world impact. One of the most significant, I would say, is the idea of living labs, of real places in the cities where test beds can be monitored. Some of them have been exhibited here today, like at Josh's house over in the Habitat Centre, where it's continually monitoring and providing a feedback loop as to how to do things better in a more sustainable house to inform better decision making. An offshoot of that is our High Performance Built Environments Cluster, being led by Professor Matt Santamouris, who's very much engaged in looking at the impacts of heat island in cities at a metropolitan level. He's done the largest global investigation into Darwin, of the whole city, and is very much focused on Western Sydney and working with the Parramatta City Council and instituting a living lab there of a complete street to monitor it over a 5-year period, to look at how new technologies, including new materials, greening, water, and sensors that provide feedback loops, can really develop cooler urban environments. And our City Futures Research Centre, which is very much focused on using city analytics and city well-being as key areas of research. One example is the City Analytics Lab, led by Professor Chris Parrish, who is also here over the last couple of days. And this particular study is looking at urban mobility and mapping where people move, how they move, and how we can actually engender more active forms of transport. And ultimately, the goal of this is more healthy and sustainable built environments. So user-centric behaviour and looking at that data to actually change people's lives for the better in terms of the design, planning and policy within the built environment are key to the work of Professor Susan Thompson and others in that cluster. So what does that mean for a city like Sydney? We know that the daily summer temperatures are increasing and that by 2050 it will be much hotter. In response to this, we need to do something different in the built environment. We need to address the design of the built environment to make it cooler, to improve human health, as well as sustain environmental health. So some of the strategies that have been looked at through this research are cool roofs, cool walls, cool pavements, cool streets, cool canopies, as well as water and heat mitigating materials. The research done by Matt Santamouris's group has noted that in using an integrated raft of mitigation strategies in Western Sydney, the energy demand will be reduced by up to 50% and heat-related morbidity can be reduced by 35 to 40%.